Action. Hello, welcome to the Midlanders Podcast with me, Jodie Marie, and this is
Nick.
Today we have asked you a question on our community page. We asked if you have any dilemmas or sins that you'd like to confess. Or we have some really good responses. Really looking forward to reacting to them. So that's what we're going to start with today. Nick, do you want to start?
So this one, I'm not sure if this person is being serious or not, but either way, it's kind of freaky. So I think my toys are alive. Every time I have my back turned or step out of a room that they are in, they are very swift at being still and silent at a drop of a hat when I return into the room.
Nice.
So I think their toys are alive.
You know what, though? I think either things are alive in my house or I've got like a ghost playing tricks on me, because I was after some knives the other day. Somebody bought me some knives, like fake knives, to do a custom with. And it was like a CSI custom. And I had these knives and I needed them for another video, or I wanted to use them for another video. Do you think I could find them? The next day, I knew exactly where I'd put them, and I was like, well, where are they? Because they're not there. The next day, they was exactly there. And I was like, I looked there. I know I did. So, and no one comes in here apart from me.
And that's quite
really annoying.
It's quite interesting, though, isn't it? Because I know it's not the same thing, but isn't it annoying when you keep losing stuff? Like,
yeah,
you've got things and they've never been seen again. So I've had like files, like medical files that I'd had, they'd just vanished. Never found them. Don't know where the hell they are. Like, I had a full bag of like magnets that were on my fridge. I have no idea where they are. I had a key ring full of key rings, and you put them somewhere, they're just not there anymore. Like, there's been so many things. Like, where do they go? And that makes me sit there and think, there's a thing. They are true that we have borrowers.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. They borrowed their knives and put them back because they was not there. I looked for them in that specific place. Oh,
it's
so annoying.
It's like when you can't find something, and then you never know. The toys could be alive.
Spooky. I mean,
it's Halloween tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're recording this the day before Halloween, so we've still got spooky vibes. But by the time you see this, it'll be
done and dusted.
Is it just past bonfire night when we release it?
It would be the 7th, wouldn't it? I think.
Yeah, so yeah, a couple of days after bonfire night. Yeah. Okay, so I've got a bit of a rogue here. So I once fled from a police car. Long story short, got pulled over. Cop got out of his car. The second he reached my left quarter panel, I took off. Oh, what gave you the balls to do that though? Like, I couldn't imagine. Did you just do it out of like, oh, let's, like, curiosity, let's just play a game, do you know what I mean? He gave chase, but I lost him in a muddy cornfield. I was in a 4-wheel drive pickup and he was not. Yes, it was a stupid thing to do, but you said you wanted confessions, so there you have it. Wow. I actually really like that though. I mean, don't do it, please. But it's interesting. I mean, that's a story that you can tell people. But yeah, don't do it.
Are we the first people you've told?
Yeah, have you ever admitted that to anyone else, or is it like a icebreaker for you? Do you tell everyone that? No, I love that though. I'm glad that you told us about it.
Do you know what? I wouldn't have the balls to do that.
I wouldn't.
Like, even if it was tempting, I just couldn't do that.
I know people that would. I do know a few that do have that type of mentality and that would do it, but I could never. But as if you got away as well. So
no.
Did they find you afterwards though, because of your reg and that, or did they not find you at all? Oh, you got so many questions to answer for us.
I would so like to know. Please give us an update. So Well, I've got one. It's very straight to the point. And it's a very controversial one, actually. So, I adore pineapple pizza.
Yes, same. I used to love pineapple pizza, but they don't make vegan pineapple pizza, which is wild because I'm sure a lot of vegans love pineapple pizza.
That's a bit. I mean, I love pineapple. That's one of my things that I'll always have on pineapple, obviously with other stuff, but that is one of my go-tos. I know some people think it's weird, but it's not. But I wonder why they don't do that. Can't you create your own with a
I'll create my own,
with your vegan base with it? Does that?
Yeah,
I don't know how it works, but
yeah, I'll create my own. But it's just easier sometimes to just whack one in the oven, eh?
oh yeah, I suppose I didn't.
And when
think
you're
about
ordering
that.
at like pizza places, I really just enjoyed. I always used to order a pineapple pizza. Whenever we went to like pizza or anything, so now I don't get that. I just have the vegan vegetable one. But yeah, this one. Oh, sorry.
No, carry on.
So I have a confession. I don't know whether this one's a bit of a jokey one as well, but it's something that we can discuss because we could probably both relate here. I have a confession. I watch ASMR a lot, but I don't tell anyone about it.
Oh.
See, now this could be a bit of a joke, or you actually do watch a lot of ASMR and you've never told anyone about it. And I think there's a lot of people that watch ASMR and then don't tell anyone about it.
Which is why I think that is actually possibly true, because the amount of people I've had saying that, nobody knows I watch it. I feel embarrassed to say I watch it, or I don't know how to say to somebody. Interesting.
You feel embarrassed watching it. Imagine telling someone that you make it.
I think that's a good point. Yeah, the awkwardness.
Yeah. So what's that then? Oh, I help people sleep. I whisper to them. Is it sexual? No. It's not supposed to be. But whatever tickles your fancy.
You know what I mean? That's the point, though, isn't it? It's such a topic that, like, if to say it, it's like one of those, here we go. Like, that's what I go, like, as soon as somebody says, what's your job? So I always just come out like, I'm a content creator. And then when they say, oh, what do you do? Oh, yeah, YouTube. And then it's kind of like, oh, what do you do on YouTube? And then it's like, ASMR and blah, 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 and other stuff. Then, oh, what's that? And I'm like, here we go.
You know what? This is why I'm really glad that I've got a podcast now, because whenever anyone asks, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do YouTube. I've got a podcast. And because I work on a farm now, I just say that as well. And then that kind of just ends the conversation, luckily.
Yeah. A lot of the time, I always say, I do lifestyle content and then ASMR. Drop it in. Because the only reason is because people, they don't know what it is. Or they've got a misconception about it, that it is sexual.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, anyone's going to find anything sexual, aren't they? It just is what it is. We're humans at the end of the day. And obviously, some people do tailor it to that, whether you agree with that or not. But it makes it so awkward when you're trying to say to somebody, because they automatically sit there and think, you're doing no whatting to people.
Yeah, you know what as well, though? I mean, I don't know whether you've had this as well, but I've had a few people in real life and a few people online say, well, if it's not sexual, why is it all pretty girls? And I'm like, just because you find each girl that does ASMR attractive doesn't mean that we're all pretty girls doing ASMR. Do you know what I mean?
Thanks.
I mean, we're all beautiful, but the thing is, like, just because it's pretty girls doing ASMR doesn't mean sexual. That makes no sense.
I mean, the thing is with that, though, come on. There's men and women on here and whatever. Do you know what I mean?
There's plenty of attractive men. Do you know what I mean?
And at the end of the day, I mean, everyone's obviously beautiful in their own ways, and obviously people find different people attractive, don't they? But sit there and say a claim like, "Oh, everyone's attractive." What? So we can't be.
It's only pretty girls that do ASMR. But that's not true.
That's just weird. That is. Whoever said that, you're an idiot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh God! But thanks for the compliment and all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is one of those, isn't it? It's a bit awkward. But I feel like My question is to you is like, why do you feel awkward and embarrassed or whatever to tell people? Why do you feel that way? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, Again, I think it's misunderstanding because if they tell people, people are going to think that it's weird. Because if you tell anyone, if you was to just say randomly, oh, I listen to people whisper to sleep to make me sleep or to help me sleep. If you don't know what it is, it sounds weird. It sounds odd. You know,
Yeah,
like
and I also think as well though, when like I really don't whisper that much, to be honest. I do incorporate sometimes in my videos, but I feel a lot of people just label ASMR with tapping and whispering, and I'm like, it annoys me
yeah,
because I'm like, it's
it's
way beyond that. Do
yeah,
you know what I
so much
mean?
more. Yeah,
You know, and I feel like
lots of sounds.
people are downplaying what it is. Oh, you just whisper and tap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's annoying. But anyway, next one. Let's move on.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna have to go to my other account.
Well, I've got a bit of a crazy one, which is what they start it with actually, is a crazy one. One time in school, I accidentally sharted and had to go to the bathroom. What does sharted mean?
It means you shit yourself and farted at the same
Oh,
time.
goodness
So
me.
you fart and then shit comes out.
Oh, God, here we go.
Pebble
So,
dash your pants.
yeah, lovely. So I told my friends that I needed the bathroom and I calmly walked to the other side of the school to use the bathroom while I wa while there was a piece of poo in my pants. When I went to the toilet, I locked the door and pulled my pants down to clean up the mess, but there was no toilet paper. So I went out to the bathroom, pants down, and got toilet paper from outside the stall and cleaned up. When I went to the class, I could still smell the awful stench of poop. Literally had to deal with it for 2 hours. Then I went home.
That is funny though. Oh god, but a bit embarrassing.
Well,
Oh.
thanks for the confession. I'm guessing nobody knows that and just us. Love it.
And his friends. Oh, because they would probably say, you smell like shit.
I like that one.
That was funny, yeah. I enjoyed that one. Okay. So I need advice for overcoming corn addiction. So I've said corn in case it gets flagged
Yeah,
on
I
YouTube,
know.
but you all know what I mean. So, I mean, we aren't medical professionals, right? So we can't like give professional advice when it comes to this, but I'm gonna try. And just give you, I don't know, something that you can run with. Maybe get someone you can talk to, like see a doctor and just tell them what what's triggering it. Yeah, also find out what's triggering it. Like
Mm,
what's making you think, oh, let me watch porn today. Is
mm,
it boredom? Maybe you have like personality disorder as well, because sometimes that can trigger it, can't it? Because I
mm.
know some other people that have like porn addiction, but they've also got other mental health issues to go with it as well. But if you manage those, you can manage your porn addiction as well.
I mean,
Do you have any advice?
personally, I've not known anybody to have an addiction to porn. My question would be, do you think it's a problem?
That's a good one.
Which I think you might do, otherwise you wouldn't have asked.
Yeah.
So it's like what you said, isn't it? Like what you think's triggering it. Is it boredom? Is it? I mean, some people can have a sex addiction, you see, so it could be sort of
Mhm.
in line with that. I mean, if it's all right saying to somebody, isn't it? You know, try to refrain from watching, etc. But obviously, addiction is not that simple.
No,
So maybe try speaking to somebody, like a medical
definitely.
professional. I mean, I wouldn't say there's necessarily something wrong with that. Obviously, too much can be unhealthy. You know, like some people with addictions, I've known I've read, like with porn addictions, for example, they just don't do anything else but that. And
Yeah.
that's where it's really unhealthy. And if you are at that kind of stage, I would probably suggest seeking medical advice on that and see what they recommend. You know, do
Yeah,
you have
because I
it?
mean, sorry, I was also thinking, are you single or are you in a relationship? Because is it having an effect on a relationship? If it's because you're single, it might not actually be an addiction. You might just be feeling lonely,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's just
good
a
point.
coping mechanism.
Mm.
Sorry, what were you going to say before I rudely interrupted?
No, it's fine. I can't actually remember what I was going to say, but
Oh no.
it's all right. Um, that was it. So, I mean, do you have any other like mental health issues, as you mentioned? But a good point with what you said, that if this person is single, it's sort of a little bit different, if you know what I mean, because well, a lot of single people do that. Do
Yeah,
stuff, do you know what I mean?
normal. Yeah.
Even people in relationship, you know. But I mean, is this taking up all your time? Do you know what I mean? You know, is this taking over kind of thing?
Mhm.
That's the way they say to people who've got OCD, for example. Is it taking over your life? If it is, that's where it's a problem and you need to seek some kind of professional help. I wouldn't say it's something to be ashamed of, though,
No,
or anything
definitely
like
not.
that. But you've just got to step back and take, a look at things and see, actually, is this normal for,
Hmm.
you know, and if you feel it is a problem and it's affecting every day, then you definitely need to go and speak to somebody. I mean, are you in a relationship and, is it you're becoming more obsessed, say, with that rather than, say, your partner, for example? Have you spoke to your partner about it?
Hmm.
Maybe start there. And is it affecting your relationship? Do you know what I mean? You've got to think about that, really. And addiction's a hard one, isn't it, too?
Yeah, and just remember, take it day by day. Like if you have a day off from it, count that as a win. Then the second day, if you can't have that
Mm.
day off and you need to watch it, then
And then,
take the day. Like just do it. Like, and then
I mean,
it's
is it?
not gonna like force you back. At least the next day you can try again. Just take it step by step, and yeah,
Mm.
just get some professional help. I'd say,
Which
like
is a
advice.
good what you've said as well, because that would lead me on to the point to say, like, is it like multiple times a day? Is it just
Yeah.
once a day? I'm guessing if it's a problem, it will probably be more than once a day. If it is, I know it sounds like, but maybe try to, like with any addiction, just wean off a little bit. So
Mhm.
if it's say 3 times a day, can you just try and make it say 2 times? Do you know what I mean? And try and break it down that way and see if that helps.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just breaking a habit. Sometimes
Yes.
you can get so comfortable in a habit, and you're scared to let go of it as well.
Mm. Like if it's a
So
comfort or something.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Don't be so scared, because what could be worse than what you're in now if you're struggling with life, because that's like taking over.
yeah.
Nothing's going to be worse. It's only going to get better. So
Mm.
yeah, just try and break the habit here and there.
And have you got something else that you could do instead of that?
Take a
If for
walk.
example,
Read a
yeah,
book.
well,
No,
but
I'm just kidding.
do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you might be like working or college or whatever. I don't know, because obviously I don't know who you are. But if you're literally doing nothing and say you're sat at home all the time, it's going to be a lot harder to maybe break away from things. But if you have got, say, a busy life as well, it might be easier to try and combat it by keeping busy and doing something. Like, have you
Mhm.
got mates that you could say, well, instead of going and watching that, maybe, I don't know, see if one of your mates wants to do something or try and do something else. I know it's easier said than done,
Mhm.
but I suppose it's a bit like smoking. I'm going to use that as an example. Like,
Yeah.
that's an addiction, isn't it? I
Mhm.
used to smoke, and I used to smoke an excessive amount back in the day. Um, and to be honest with you, I didn't want to stop smoking. So if you don't want to stop something, you're not
Yeah.
really going to stop it. So you've got to
Mhm.
think as well, do I want to stop this or do I
Yeah.
not? like, and smoking, like what I did, because I was going, like, having like 20, 40 fags a day at one point. And the only thing that made me stop was my throat. So basically I was getting sore throats and my throat kept cutting out. And just weird stuff. My voice couldn't speak properly, and it was just going on for ages. So I ended up seeing somebody. I had a camera and everything down there, and my larynx and trachea were really thin. They'd gone really narrowed, and it was built up tar wrapped around it. So,
Wow.
and they said I'd end up with throat cancer or something like that. And bear in
Mm.
mind, I was what? This was 2006, I think. So I was like, I don't know,
Young.
20-ish. And that was the only reason I
Gosh.
stopped smoking. It was something so
Yeah,
dramatic.
something to
But,
like give you a bigger fear than the feeling of not having a cigarette.
but it's not the same, is it, as watching that? Because that's
Yeah,
it's not gonna kill you, is it? And then you want to make sure as well that that addiction doesn't turn into something else,
yeah,
because it can escalate and go into other things.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's my long essay take on that.
I hope that helped.
Yeah.
And yeah, uh,
I wish you all the best
yeah,
anyway, and
yeah, for
just
sure we do.
mm,
Thanks for thanks for telling us and opening up
yeah,
to us.
thank you.
Next one, Nick, if you got another.
Yeah, so it's just one word and a crying face.
Not again.
My people just like saying one words. So I think it's pronounced procrastinating. Does that mean always thinking about something and not doing it?
Yeah,
Is
it
it?
means just putting it off. Like you've got to do it, but you put it off.
Right, that's what I thought it meant, yeah. So
Yeah, I procrastinate sometimes.
So you've got stuff to do.
Hmm.
You know you have and you think you have, but you just don't do it.
That's correct.
Right, so how do you beat that then?
Uh, you know what? This is
Just do
really
it.
hard. Yeah, because this is really hard for me because sometimes I'm like this, and I have to be in the right frame, the right mind. Well, you know what? Actually, I have to have a lot to do before I can start one task, if that makes sense. So I'll just have one, and I'm like, oh, I've got all the time in the world to do it. And it's not until the date's got to be in that I'm like, oh my God, I've got a million and one things to do. Then it registers like.
I know what
So
you were
that
like at college and uni then. Last minute girl.
it's more so nowadays, actually. Back then,
Mm.
I was quite good. Nowadays, I leave everything till the last minute. This is only sometimes, though, because sometimes I can be on it, like, and I work really well, knowing I've got lots to do and it's all formed in my head. But then some days it's just not. So I completely understand that, and I don't know how to get over it. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes it works for me and sometimes it doesn't. I'm still struggling with that myself.
I
How do
mean,
you get over it, Nick? Like, how do you organise everything?
well, that's a good one.
Write lists, actually, that's a good one. I recently, actually, this has been helping me a lot. Not always, but it does help me a lot. I've got a whiteboard right in front of my bed. So when I get up first thing in the morning, after I've wrote it all down at night, that's the first thing I see in the morning. I know what I've got to do first. So if
Yeah.
you've got something to keep checking on and what you've got to do,
Mhm.
then and if you keep seeing a lot of writing, then it looks like you've got lots to do. So it'll make your brain think, right, that's what I've got to do next.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm quite forgetful. Yeah, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, I'm quite forgetful. Just am these days. But so I'm one that I tend to write like lists of things in my notepad. Even then, sometimes I can forget. But it's like I have a calendar now. So the last year, I've made a point of writing down all my things. So like when I'm filming the podcast, when I'm filming, where I've got to go and different places like that. So then I'll check the calendar daily to make sure I don't forget. I set timers on. I can't say it because she's going to go off. But I set timers, reminders, and things on there. But to actually having the oomph to do something, I think it's quite a difficult one because it depends on you as a person. I think it depends, like, do you have, say, any mental health issues? That's going to be a big factor that stops that. Not everybody who does
Yeah,
that,
true.
obviously it does. But that can be a factor, or any health issues. So, for example, if it could be people as well, say, like myself, for example, I've got fibromyalgia, so that can affect my like motivation. It makes me fatigued, lethargic, and stuff like that. So, if somebody's got something like that, that could stop you wanting to do something as well. But if I've got something to do, I always have to do it. But a lot of the time I do sit there and think, oh, I'll do that later. I'll do that later. And then you're thinking about if you don't do it later, it just stays there forever. So I go
Yeah.
through swings really. Like sometimes it's constant, got to do this, got to do that, got to do this. And I'm constantly, I've got to do all that,
This
I've
is
got
what
to get
I'm
it done.
like. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then other times it's like, yeah, I'll do it later. And then I've got, but then it
Yeah.
has the opposite effect. And I go full on then and I get really like, got to do this. And I go over the top with it. It's hard to find a
Yeah.
balance.
Right. Okay. So I genuinely do struggle with this. What I've found recently that has helped me quite a lot is if I can't be bothered to write it, because sometimes I struggle with this as well, you might also. If I can't be bothered to write it on my bedroom calendar at night, because I've always got my phone in my hand, I'll write it all in my phone. So you can see all those blue lines underneath the dates. That's literally every step of my day. So when I wake up, put my washing in, have my breakfast, what I'm having for breakfast. So it looks like I've got a lot to do, because if I trick my mind to think I've got a lot to do, it'll make me do more, if that makes sense.
The only thing that I do that's similar to that, it's not necessarily in the same, but if I'm lying in bed especially, or I have thoughts of something that I want to do or that I need to do, or anything that I want to say, like what type of videos I want to film or whatever, I will always write it in a message to myself on Facebook.
That's good. That's very good.
So you'll see on my Facebook, it's got like PT, vampire, witch.
Love that. Love that. That's actually pretty cool.
I just think it depends how bad it is for you. Like, it's
I think
something
those are
making
helpful
you.
tips. Yeah, I think those are really helpful tips that we've given.
Another thing that I've known people do is sometimes people are so overwhelmed because they've got so much to do. Try and break it down. So do little tasks at a time, or write on a pad. Think, right, okay, tomorrow I'm going to say do the ironing. I'm going to take the rubbish out, for example. Could be anything. Then say for Wednesday, okay, I'm just maybe going to do one task that day. Try and break it out over the, say, 7 days or something like that, and just carry out a couple of tasks a day. And
Yeah.
other than that, we've just got to have to get up and do it, I think. If that doesn't help, I mean.
Yeah. Also, don't be disappointed if you don't get everything done off your list. Remember that you've put the most on there to try and get the most out of your day, but it doesn't matter if you only do 2 or 3. Or even 1, or even none. It doesn't matter. Just move it to the next day.
Yeah.
You won't always have like a productive day. There is going to be days where you do procrastinate, probably because you're tired, and you're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to take a rest. So don't always think that everything you're doing is procrastinating, because you probably just need rest as well.
Yeah, and don't punish yourself over it.
Yeah.
And like I say, you could be a super busy person. Say you work all the time, or this, that, and the other. And there might be, say, a few house jobs that you might want to do. I don't know, put a picture up on the wall, and you keep thinking you need to do it, but don't do it. It's just like, it's only a picture. It's not the end of the world. But
Yeah.
just think, I know, spare an hour out the day. I mean, it won't even take that long, shouldn't do. But just think, right, on Saturday, I'm going to put my picture up, and just make sure you have a slot to put your picture up. And if you don't get it done, you don't get it done.
Or it might be a little bit different if you're doing exams. So, because if you don't get those done, it could have consequences. So make sure you prioritise the most important task. Yeah. And I know it can be difficult to, if you're writing an essay and you've got no ideas because of writer's block or whatever. If you just write a few words, things will start coming. If it doesn't come on that night, the words that you wrote down, it might trigger something the next day. So even the littlest steps will help you form whatever you need to do for work.
And that's quite actually a good point to make. So for somebody like, I'm guessing you might be the same, coming up for example, if you are like at uni or whatever, college, and you say you're needing to write an essay or come up with something, coming up with ideas can be very difficult for
Mhm.
me to think of ideas, for example. And I could be sitting there thinking, oh my God, I don't know what to film this week. I have no idea. And it plays on my mind for days. And like,
Mm.
because I'm thinking about it too much, I can't do it. So I have to take my mind away thinking, do you know what? When Saturday comes and I've got a film, I'll worry about it then. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, I'm in the shower, for example, or I'm in bed, and then I'll like, bam, then I get my phone out, Facebook myself.
It's always when I'm just about to go to sleep or I'm in the shower that ideas come to me.
Yeah, so have a shower and go to bed.
Yeah.
But
And those
yeah.
ideas will come running in.
Yeah, so obviously we don't know your situation, but hopefully that's helped a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully you got some good examples there.
You know, and this time of year as well, you know, people tend to get worse and not do stuff, usually because, you know, we don't have much sunlight if you're in the winter, autumn season, that is. So yeah, anyway, I
Yeah.
wish you all the best with whatever you need to get done.
Yeah, good luck. Oh, okay. So this one's a good one. Interesting, but also a little bit sad. It's been 3.5 years, so 3.5 years, and I still periodically miss my ex. We had a perfect relationship and split because she moved away and dumped me after getting a doctorate. That's sad. We had a house and a dog together. Oh, even worse.
Oh,
I've slowly been building up my independence, but scared to be vulnerable again. Drink too much. We never talk. She's blocked on everything, but I can never get her to leave my head or my heart. I just want to lose the memory forever.
oh.
Oh, you know what? That's so sad. Like heartbreak, it does hurt. It can for a very long time as well.
Very.
It's hard. Ah,
I mean, I've been there,
yeah.
so I know, like, I was with somebody for about 2.5 years and we split up. Well, I wasn't in a great place mentally, and you know, I always punish myself since, thinking, well, it was my fault. If I wasn't, say, crazy, we still would have been together. And it lasted, if I'm honest with you, years,
Mm.
years and years. And the heartbreak, it was horrific, if I'm really honest with you. And even after the end, that kind of heartbreak had kind of gone, still sort of there. Do you know what I mean? It's like now, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it was donkeys ago now, and obviously I'm happily married and kids and whatever. And I wouldn't want to be with this person, but even sometimes now it's kind of like you still think about them a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you see their name and somebody says something. I mean, does it say why they split up?
Yeah, because she got a doctorate, so I'm guessing that she moved away.
I'm guessing then, if that was the case, you didn't have the opportunity to go with.
Yeah, so why didn't did you know that that was her plan when or he or she, I don't even know. Did you know that that was their plan when you got together, that they'd get a doctorate and then move away? Did they
Or
ask you to move and you couldn't move with them?
Or did they just feel like, oh, well, I've got a doctorate now, I don't want you, kind of thing, and just broke up because she wanted, or she or he or whoever wanted to go and do
Yeah.
their own thing? Either way, it doesn't help you, does it?
No.
Um,
What advice can I give?
well,
I'd say, have you got friends that you can spend more time with? Speak to them about it as well, because they might be able to help.
mm,
Because talking about it as well sometimes can just make you feel better. Just get it off your chest. You know what I mean?
I think people as well got different ways of coping. I mean, the way
Yeah.
I dealt with it was probably not the best way to deal with it. But obviously that's where I used to go out, you know, get drunk and pull
Same.
everyone.
Yep, I
And
did
that was,
exactly the
do
same.
you know what I mean? So just go out, get drunk, and go and pull someone. No, I'm joking.
No, but go out and enjoy yourself. Like, do go out, go and meet some people. Like, enjoy yourself. Don't be scared of meeting someone else, because
Well, not everyone's the
They're
same.
not they're not the same. Yeah, not
Mm-mm.
everyone's the same. So you'll probably be thankful when you meet the next person, like, oh, this is what I was meant to have.
Yes, and that's what it's like for me now. So that's what I'm
And
saying.
me.
There is an
Yeah.
end from it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
And
don't be
then you'll see the
scared.
faults in that relationship and be like, oh, okay, now I feel
Yes,
safer. Yeah,
yeah, exactly that. So I think, just, I know it's easier said than done, but just
for
keep
sure.
obviously busy, do things, work on your life, but go out, have a laugh. If you've got friends, even talk to them how you feel. I mean, is it affecting you as in making you feel depressed, etc.? If it is, I would say please speak to your doctor or something like to
Yeah,
get some help that way.
because it doesn't matter what triggers depression, it's still depression. Still
Yeah.
get help.
Mm.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter like what's causing it. If you're depressed, get help.
Yeah. I mean, everyone feels sad and not everybody
Yeah.
experiences depression, but it's real for whoever does, whatever kind
Mhm.
of, somebody could be depressed, but it's only mildly. It's still
Yeah.
depressed and need to speak to somebody. Maybe just even speaking to somebody is enough for you to,
Yeah.
or you are depressed where you do need some other kind of intervention. And it's nothing to be ashamed of if you do. Don't feel like, oh, well, I'm feeling like this and I shouldn't be feeling like this. It was so long ago. Well, that doesn't matter. It just means
Mm.
that you haven't been able to process that properly.
And I
So,
don't know how old you are either, but I think that sometimes when we break up with people that we've been with a long time or had a commitment with and lived with and stuff, um, you concentrate on what you've lost and not got anymore. Whereas you'd probably, if you really thought about how the relationship was and things like that, you'd probably find that there was some faults in it anyway. But I think because you just focus so much on how it feels to not have that anymore, you forget like what's
yeah.
actually good in your life and
And
how
that
things are better now.
and that brings me on to another point. Actually, you made me think. Think back to your relationship. How was it? Really?
Yeah.
Like, was it perfect? And I know nothing's perfect, but think of it, analyze it a little bit. Was it all like with me? I was always like, oh, miss this, miss that, or was this? But then actually, especially nowadays when I've reflected a lot of
Hmm.
it, you sit there and think, well, actually, it wasn't good at all.
Yeah.
There was that happened, and I actually blocked all that
Yeah.
out of my head, and I was focusing so much on that. So I think it'd be a good task for you to sit there and
Yeah.
actually try to break it down.
For
how
sure.
how was it for you, if you know what I mean?
Mm.
um but see, it's hard when we don't know everyone's full situation, isn't it? I think that's the
Yeah.
hard thing. I mean, they must have been close to live together and have a dog.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I
you can
don't.
live with someone, it still be shit.
Well, yeah, that's a good
And you
point.
not really know, like, you not really see it all for what it is. Because you're just
Yeah.
kind of comfortable and,
Mm.
yeah.
I mean, what happened to the dog? Do you still see the dog? So I'm
I
guessing there's
know.
no
That's probably,
communication.
yeah. I hope we got to keep the dog because that'd be even more of a
Mm.
heartbreak.
And if there's no, like, I mean, how come when you say they're blocked? Have you ever tried just talking? Or
Nah, don't talk to him.
do you reckon?
Yeah, if you're still in this, it could go one or two ways. If you're still a bit infatuated and you'd want it to work, any type
Mm,
of communication is going to make you think, oh my god, she wants to get back with me.
yeah.
That's the only trouble. However,
Mm,
if you spoke to her, it could go another way where you think, actually, I've not missed her that much at all.
yeah.
There's it could go, but you need to know yourself, what you're like yourself, and you need to like really question that because I think if you've blocked them, you've got to block them because you know yourself, you'd
Well, I
feel like
think,
you needed to,
but
you
what?
felt
How
like you
did it?
needed to disconnect there.
Like, why? What they're blocking? The reason why I focus on that at the moment is because was it such a bad breakup? Like, did you basically hate each other, kind of thing, or did you just like split up and then you just block them because, well, you just don't want to see their stuff or whatever? Was it such a negative thing or not? Because I'm thinking, if it was a bad kind of breakup like that, you're probably better off not contacting. But if it
Yeah,
wasn't, it was sort of like, you'd split up, now doing your own thing, and it weren't too bad, but you've just blocked anyway, would you? Then it might be a little bit different. It's finding out the.
I think people only block when they're hurt, though. I can't imagine someone blocking someone when they're not hurt. I think that's like, especially if they know them
I mean,
and they've had a relationship.
So the guy that I was on about,
Mm.
we actually follow each other on Instagram,
Okay.
and we've spoke probably for a few years now. Well, quite a lot of years, on and off. He's married, got kids, and whatever. But it's actually quite nice in a weird way that he reached out to me originally, and at the time it was like, oh my God, and everything comes flooding back and all this, that, and the other. And then when you see the pictures of him and his family and everything, it was all like, it's just plays in your mind. But I've got, with my mental health issues and past traumas and that, no, that's the why I act like that. So that doesn't mean everyone's going to react like that. But obviously then over time, when he started saying stuff about, we spoke about the relationship and stuff, we actually started speaking about the relationship, how things were and things that I had forgot. And then when he's told me, I remember it, and I sit there and think, God, I was awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I sat there and think, well, do you know what? I'm actually glad now. And then, but we can be civil. So do you know what I mean? It could be good, it could be bad, but you've got to be in that right mind, I think. Like me, it was years later, and it was still a bit dodgy, but I think it must have been split up like 10 years at this point. But I'm just, if you're really in the midst of it, it could make things worse. And then you don't.
3.5 years. I think if you've been blocked 3.5 years, keep them blocked.
Yeah, because then I think about it. What happens if you don't then, and then you get rejected? You got all that again.
Yeah.
So my advice is, go out. Get. Oh, if you're drinking too much, they said, didn't they? Are you drinking too much to block your pain?
Oh, I drink too much. Yeah.
Then my suggestion, is to speak to a medical professional.
Yeah, definitely.
It sounds like there's something going on mentally because of the heartbreaks triggered it. You're drinking to cope.
Yeah.
So
because partying's good, but only if you're doing it like weekly, like weekend now and again.
That's all week.
Yeah. If you're doing it more than that,
you don't want to. And like, are you drinking at home on your own and stuff like that? Which, when I think of it, that side of it, that's when I think, no, you need to speak to somebody, really.
Yeah.
And I personally say, keep them blocked, if that's the case.
Yeah, life is very short to be thinking about one person. There's someone else out there that needs someone like you.
This person's probably moved on. This person could have moved on. Why
Let's not tell them that. We don't want to break their heart even further. Christ.
No, but you know what I mean. You don't know, do you? God, sorry. Don't.
Sorry to break it to you.
No, I'm being real. I'm keeping it real.
No.
You don't know, do you? And then that would mean more heartbreak for you then. And it's just, is it worth that?
Yeah. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You're still alive. Like, take every day with a pinch of salt and every day as it comes and just enjoy it, okay? Enjoy the little things.
You don't want to rely on alcohol,
No. And don't rely on a woman or man,
or a man,
whatever,
or whoever,
to make you happy. Enjoy yourself and then someone will come along.
Yeah, and just go with the flow and take each day as it comes, really. But if you have got a problem, obviously, with that, please seek some help. But,
sure.
I wish you all the best anyway with, whatever you choose.
Lovely. Then.
Well, I got a funny one here. I don't know I shouldn't laugh really, but, So, silly question. What should I buy my friend for Christmas who only likes chicken nuggets and Pepsi?
Chicken nuggets and Pepsi.
Somebody put chicken nugget and Pepsi themed stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I've only ever seen Coke themed stuff though. Can you get the person to like Coke maybe? You might be able to get a beer glass or a...
I've seen pencil cases that were Pepsi.
Oh yeah.
And squishies, them squishies. The stress balls.
Oh yes.
I've seen Pepsi themes on them, I'm sure I have.
But realistically though, they must like something else other than that.
Yeah.
'Cause you
Really
can,
think about it. Really think
yeah.
about what they wear, what their favourite colour is.
Do they
Come on,
play
be a good friend.
games? Do they watch
Yeah,
TV?
yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody needs clothes, so do they need a top?
Slippers, socks.
You know, yeah, and anything like that. It's a hard one, isn't it, I suppose, when you're looking at gifts.
Bath bombs.
It is hard, isn't it, to figure out what
Yeah.
gifts to get people. But
No, yeah.
realistically, you've got to
Um,
look into it a bit more. I feel like you're not looking into that person enough.
yeah.
Do you know what? I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but it's like me, for example, I love Chippy and say Coke, but there's a lot
You
more
wouldn't want
about
that
me
as a
than just
present.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it as a present, and there's more about me than that. So that's what I
Yeah.
mean. So I don't know. Maybe ask. Say,
Yeah.
what would you like for Christmas? And go from
That's
there.
what I have to do because I'm terrible at
Or
gifts.
do you know what? Take them to McDonald's. Give them chicken nuggets.
Oh God, no, not McDonald's. um,
No, seriously though, ask.
yeah. Well, this is the blunt version short story of it. Okay, so she was pulling out some scary cards, and I was telling her, laughing, "Oh no, this one don't really mean." Hang on. Right there, let me start this from the beginning. Sorry, we'll cut that out. I did a friend's tarot reading and told her that something in her life is going to come to an end, and that these cards could possibly mean death. 2 days later, she died of an aneurysm.
God.
Oh, I'm speechless, to be honest. How did that. What? Huh?
So let me just get this straight, and for the audience. So this person who wrote the message had a reading done by their friend, and their friend that did the reading passed away.
So, the friend did the reading to her other friend, and then said, "There's death in your future." She dies of an aneurysm. So the person that did the reading is still alive, but the friend she did the reading for passed
Oh, I
away.
get it. Oh my.
Yeah, they've added to that. That's the very blunt story of it. She was pulling out some scary cards, and I was telling her, laughing, "Oh no, these ones don't really mean death." But when when she pulled out the future event card, and I was like, "Oh, this one actually could mean death." It was a jovial reading with a real life scary ending. That's so sad, but also like crazy interesting that the cards actually said that and it happened.
I mean, first of all, I want to say, I mean, sorry for the loss of your friend.
For sure. That's actually so sad and scary. Like, I'm speechless.
So am I. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I mean,
Wow.
that lot of energy went into them cards.
For sure. I mean, and
Wow.
like, imagine being the one that did that reading. That's going to be on your mind like all the time. Because you're going to be like, "I wish I never did it." But like, also, you have to remember that it would have happened even if the reading wasn't done.
Yeah, because
The reading just read your future, man.
Yeah, it's not that it made it happen, because I know some people might think it's their fault. It wouldn't be the case. It just would have happened anyway.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't believe these like readings and stuff, but when you hear something like that, it's like, how would it have known? It can't be a coincidence. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, but very interesting.
That brings me on to a sad one, actually. So, my mum passed away.
We're ending in tears. Go on.
Right, yeah. So, my mum passed away 3 weeks ago.
Oh gosh, sorry to hear that.
I'm so sorry. I'm only 24 and would love some advice or just a few kind, inspiring words. Thank you for all you do.
That is so sad. So young.
I mean, that's so
Oh,
raw because it's so soon. I mean, 3 weeks
yeah.
ago. I mean,
Um, I mean, like I've been in a position where I've nearly lost my mom at points, so
mm,
um, I couldn't imagine actually losing her. But I remember the worry of
yeah,
thinking it might.
yeah,
So I can't imagine the grief,
yeah.
and
I mean, that's the
you're
same
really.
with me. My mom had breast cancer a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and she was obviously had to go through chemo and stuff because it had spread. And the thought of it,
My mom was going through it just as your mom was as well. I think
yeah,
your mom was a bit further in front, and my mom had just followed like a few of
yeah. So we had that at the same
sessions.
time, didn't we? Which
Yeah,
is, um, but
just be there for your family, and hopefully there for you as well. Just treasure the loved ones around you, and yeah,
I mean, grief is normal when we lose
yeah.
somebody. Whoever they are, but especially like your mom. We're quite close to our parents, aren't we? Usually,
She'd be
um,
proud of you.
but you know, I'd just say feel the emotions. Do you know what I mean? Don't block it out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I lost my granddad about a year and a half ago, um, and it's okay to cry. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
okay to feel that emotion. I don't know whether you've had a funeral or anything yet. Possibly not, with it only being 3 weeks. I know it's usually can take quite a bit. I mean, have you thought about speaking at a funeral or doing something nice? I wrote a poem for my granddad, but everyone said to me, don't read it because I wouldn't be able to do it. I tried to read it, couldn't get past the second sentence.
yeah.
Um,
This is one thing that I worry about the most because I am so scared to do like the little speech at a funeral
mm,
because I don't think I'm strong enough to get through it.
yeah, I start and I couldn't, but I was proud that I still stood there next to my granddad
Yeah,
and managed to start that. It was actually my sister who was up there with me. Well, she come up in the end because I couldn't do it, so she come up and took over, which I think was really nice of her to do. Um, but I just think you've got this. It's okay, and with time, things may get a little bit easier.
mm,
But
you got
it's
me
a hard one.
emotional.
I know it's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah,
But I just think, just talk to people, keep speaking, tell people how you feel. Don't be ashamed if you need to seek professional help. Talk to somebody, grief counselling or whatever. Um,
you might also find that you're not able to talk to anyone yet, and that's also okay because my friend lost her dad a couple of years ago now, but she only recently started to talk about it more. So sometimes it takes people longer to process it and like because I think a lot of people are scared to cry in front of people. So like I don't think my friend could really get a sentence out without crying when she was talking about her dad, so she just never bothered and like maybe cried in her own time. But then yeah, recently she started to talk about it more. She still cried, but obviously wasn't bawling, and she could get her words out and stuff. So yeah, don't feel the pressure to talk about it if you don't want to. But yeah, just know that there are people there for you if you do want to talk, and they're not judging you even if you're bawling.
yeah, and just take each day as it comes. 24 is such a young age to lose your parent, and I can't imagine how it feels. But I just want you to know that you're not alone out there, and if you do ever feel like you just want to speak out how you feel or anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, on Instagram or something like that, because I do get people um,
Aye.
DM me and stuff. So yeah, feel free to send me a message if you want to, and I can, just be somebody to, listen or something like that.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
I'll add to that, sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger than it is to talk to friends about things like this as well. So, yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
and obviously I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I can offer some words of support and that if you want and need it, my DMs are there. So yeah,
Okay, we're very sorry for your loss and
yeah,
lots of love to you
lots
and
of
your
love.
family.
Okay, have you got any more?
No, I have no more. We ended on a sad one. I nearly cried.
Oh no.
What else I've nearly cried about this week? Have you got any more?
Yeah, so I've never had a boyfriend and I'm 26, but people think it's lame. I feel sad that I do not know how to approach guys without thinking if he's going to be disappointed in me.
Oh, what? Why do you feel that way? Why do you feel like you'd be a disappointment to start with? So think about that first. And it's. I mean, virginity is like a precious thing. To be honest, I think more and more people are leaving it later and later.
Mm.
So it's not as, I don't think it's as abnormal as most people make out. I think more and more people are leaving it longer.
To be honest, I think when I was at school, I was probably the abnormal one for being younger. You'd be
Yeah,
surprised
really.
actually that because I was quite young.
Mm,
Most people, hadn't. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's probably more common than you think.
yeah.
But do you
But no
mean?
one talks about that. People always talk about the younger ones, but no one ever
Mm,
really talks about the older you get.
but my question
So,
is, do you mean just a boyfriend or do you actually mean sexual relations? I'm not sure what they mean. I'm guessing how it's worded by thinking it's lame is
yeah.
more than just yeah.
Mm,
Don't think it's lame at all. I
I
mean,
don't think it's lame.
look,
You
respect
actually should be
actually.
proud of that.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
that's
really,
respectful.
yeah, and do you know what? I don't. You shouldn't care what people think. Just
Nah.
stuff them. Do you know what I mean? Life's too short to give a shit about what people think. And what's the rush? I mean, yeah,
And,
life.
go on.
I said life is short, but you don't have to rush out and just sleep with people just because, oh my God, I'm 26, I've got to do it. Don't feel that you're pressured to do it either.
No, and to be honest, if there's a man that or woman, is it a female there? Sorry.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well, if you're a male or female, whoever you decide to lose it with, or if they're like, if they are disappointed because you've not lost it, then
They're not worth
that's,
it.
yeah, they're not worth it at all, because there are some really respectful people out there that would be happy to help you learn, more than happy to help you learn.
Oh, very, yes. Both
Yeah,
ways, actually. You know,
yeah. So yeah, absolutely, like, don't be scared. Just go for it.
do you know what? Don't
If
be worried. Don't be worried about approaching either. I mean, obviously, I'm nearly 38 and I'm married and that. The thought of dating or even approaching people at the moment is such a minefield and scares the hell out of me, if I'm honest. It was so much simpler when I was like younger, Things
mm,
now, so much to think about. But, you don't know what that person that you're going to meet is going to think.
yeah,
You've got to, because that's a confidence issue, that is.
yeah. I think the thought of it can be quite intimidating, but if you speak to someone, just having a normal conversation without even thinking there might be a relationship in it at all, you might just find that you get on with this person just by having a conversation. It tends to be those things that lead further on anyway. If you're constantly thinking, oh, I might have a chance with this one, or this might be the one,
Yeah.
if you're constantly thinking like that, it can have an effect on how well things go in the
I
relationship or in
actually
the,
I 100% agree with that because
yeah.
in my mind, like after I'd split with that person I spoke about before, in my head it was always obsessed with I need to have a boyfriend, I need to have someone, I want this work, blah blah blah. And realistically, it just doesn't. When I stopped doing that and giving a damn, I just went by and did whatever. But then, obviously, then I met my husband, and we were just friends. And at the time, I knew at some point that he wanted more than that, but I was just like, no, we're staying friends, you know, just I'm not ready to settle down or anything. Then obviously things changed because it just happened then
Mhm. Yeah.
when it was meant to. So, you know,
Yeah,
don't put
my
yourself
advice here.
down.
Yeah, my advice here is how to help yourself get confident is start doing more things that you enjoy, not pleasing anyone else. Do it for you, and then the more you do that, the more confidence you'll gain. I think it doesn't matter what people are saying, you just do you. You'll find people that also like what you do because you're not trying to hide who you really are, you're just doing what you want to do, and then it will happen. So yeah,
And
build your confidence up
yeah,
first.
like
Find
it's
yourself.
like my name, be brave, be you. Says
Yeah,
it all.
it
That's
does.
my advice. So,
Yeah.
you know, just go with it. Enjoy life, you know. Don't be worried about what people think about you. You know, if they judge you for that, then are they really worth knowing? Do you know what I mean? But just enjoy yourself and do things like you said for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and things will just fall into place. But you know, don't ever think, oh my God, they're going to think this about me, because you don't know what the person's going to think about you. What you might hate about yourself, the person could love about you. Do you know what I mean?
If you
So,
struggle with conversation with other people as well, start with the basics. Ask questions. Everybody loves to talk about themselves, especially to new people. So if you don't want to talk about yourself, ask a question, and then that will get them talking. Then you might find something that you can relate to in their conversation,
yeah.
and it will start a back and forth. Oh,
But
you
then,
like that? Ah, yeah, I like this, and
yeah,
then you
but
can go from there.
yeah, and then you're also showing an interest, then, aren't you? I mean, you
Yeah,
might be chatting and this person, you think, God, can't stand you. Do you know what I mean? But just,
yeah,
it's experience, isn't it?
yeah,
So, but I wish you all the best anyway with whatever
yeah.
you
Same,
do.
same.
So, I'm going to read one more. So this one is, I feel stuck right now with no light at the end of the tunnel. I live with my boyfriend's family. He kind of already told me he doesn't see a future with me, but he's only with me right now for our son. And I really want to move out on my own because his family is toxic and even our relationship is toxic, but I have no job and nowhere to support myself. I don't have a car. I don't have no one to take care of my son, so it's very difficult to find a job right now. And I don't have money to pay for daycare. On top of that, I suffer with depression that I developed after postpartum depression. And I also have anxiety. So it's been very hard to be positive and to believe I'm worth anything. I have a lot of thoughts of feeling worthless and not being good enough, which I know is not true because I have my son and I need to be better for him and I need to be strong for him and give him a better environment. But it's just so hard right now. I don't know what advice you can give, but I know it won't be like this forever. And I'll keep trying to better my life and find a way to break free from all this with my son. I know I can do it. It's just that right now it feels impossible. I feel like I'm drowning. Oh,
That's really sad because imagine, like, I couldn't imagine living with my boyfriend's family if they're like all toxic and then your boyfriend's also telling you that he's only with you for their child and you're living there. That just puts you in the most awkward position. So your feelings are absolutely valid and you probably have hit the worst of it. I'm sure there is going to be a way out very shortly. Obviously, it's very difficult for you to work while you've got a child, and it is going to be. I don't even know where to start. Here, we do have a system what could help you get out. However, I don't know where you're from.
I don't
If
think it's here because of the word daycare, because we don't use that,
yeah,
do we?
if in America, I don't know what you would do. I could probably ask a few people around and then maybe tell Nick. Nick can tell you in the comments. Because we do speak to some people in America, but here I know in the UK, if anyone else is going through this in the UK, they do have a system where I think you have to claim that you're homeless. They'll put you in a hotel for a little bit, and then they'll move you to like other accommodation. So yeah, I know that we've got a system here, but I don't know how it works in the US.
Yeah, there is places in the US I know that can support, but the only things I really know of is people in abusive relationships. That's the only way I know of places. Because I don't know if, like here, we've got what we call councils, and
Yeah.
they provide like housing and stuff for people. I mean, I'm guessing if you went somewhere and said you were homeless, they would home you. I'm sure they
I
would.
don't know how it is in America. You know, I don't know if they have the type of systems we do here.
But then
I
saying
think
that,
it's pretty brutal.
there's a lot of homeless, isn't there, in America?
Yeah.
So
And I
I
think
can
once you're there, it's hard to get back out of it, you know what I mean?
I mean, you
That's
just
a really difficult situation. It's very sad. Do you not have like family of your own that you could possibly go to?
doesn't sound
It doesn't sound like it,
in the
no.
comments. I mean, you're clearly trapped, aren't you? That's what you're feeling like. And obviously you want to break free by the sounds of it. But obviously you feel like you're not in that position at the moment, which, you know, is understandable. I mean, I don't really know what to say on this one, to be honest. There's a lot to it, isn't there? I mean, we need to know where you are, really. I mean, it could be worth like searching places in your area. You know, if there's any way you can go that helps you with things.
Yeah, like, do you have like a citizen's advice or anything like that, but the American version? Because I would highly suggest you go and see citizen's advice, explain your situation. I don't know what they'll call it there, but there's got to be some sort of advice that you can get.
To be honest with you,
I don't know if you have to pay for things like that there, though. Here we don't. Like, it comes as, that's free advice, that we get here. We don't know how lucky we are, man.
I know, we are really, aren't we, with things?
Yeah.
I mean...
We think that's a struggle here.
I mean, if you're in this toxic environment, it's not good for your son, is it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you'd use that to get
I know this sounds bad, but you need to use that, basically.
Yeah. But you're not using it, you're telling the truth, though, let's face it. But you do need to say, like, you know, my kid's in a house that's toxic. My boyfriend doesn't want to be with me. He's only been with me with a child. Like, we're unhappy.
And if that's the case, I think you could probably get into the domestic places. I don't know the criteria over there, but I know that if you're in a toxic relationship or a household, that's not good for the child. So if you want to remove yourself, but you're not in that position and you feel trapped to stay, then you could actually contact a domestic abuse shelter and tell them your story, and they actually should be able to help you and home you. And I know that sounds really drastic and probably scary, but it sounds like to me it's not a good dynamic. I mean, it's not just about you obviously being with somebody that clearly doesn't love you, which... Yeah. But we've got to think about the child, haven't we?
Yeah.
And obviously we don't know. When you say toxic, I don't know what toxic. Are they arguing? Are they fighting?
They're drinking.
Drinking, drugs, whatever. And if that's the case, you've got to use that to help you get out. Yeah. You know, you want a safe environment for you and your son.
And we hope to hear of your better days, because we know you'll come out stronger in the end.
I mean, let me know where you are. It'd be really good if you let me know.
Yeah.
I will pop on your message, actually, that I've
and then we'll
spoke
do our
about
best.
it. Yeah. If you say where you are, I can always chat to you, and we'll try even to just help find some info out for you.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I wish you all the best anyway. And
yeah, same. Yeah.
So there we go. That's our agony aunts section done. We'll be here all day, won't we?
Yeah, well, I've still got more dilemmas, Nick, because my life, my week. Here we go. So I wanted to tell you my story.
What you've done now.
To finish this podcast. You can tell me yours if you've had any crazy things happen in the week. So I've ran someone over before, as we know. Well, this week it was all my own bad decisions, and sometimes I'm just not aware of myself.
Mm.
So I went to a circus fair pumpkin picking thing, and it was a lovely day. The sun was shining, it was beautiful. And then I went to the circus at the end of the night. I came out, all having a laugh, got to the car, lost my bag.
Oh,
Backpack, have it on all the time. And then when I got in the car, you know, when you just don't remember like taking it off, putting it by my feet, I looked at my feet and I was like, my bag. And you know how embarrassed I was to say, because I wasn't driving either.
Mm.
I was so embarrassed to say, I ain't got my bag. So there was like, oh. Okay, go and have a look. So I had to go, like, run back to the fair. But bearing in mind, it's huge, right? Acres of land, this bloody field.
Oh God.
So I'm at the entrance and I say, has anyone handed a bag in? They're like, no. And I'm like, can I go and check? They say, yes. So I'll run all the way there. The circus is closed now because we were at the last viewing. So I run all the way back and I said, look, there was no one at the circus because they said they was going to radio them. And they said, oh, it's because it's finished now. Can you get in the tent? So I had to run all the way back to try and get into the tent, but I couldn't. I found another member of staff and I was like, I can't get into the circus and everyone's gone. So he finally lets me in. I can't find it anywhere. I come out and he says, hold on, we'll ask at the trailers. So there's people like that stay in trailers, isn't there? Like caravans that run the fair. So he knocked on there. It was like somewhat off Wrong Turn, like the film. It was pitch black as well. Obviously, it's a Halloween themed thing.
Yeah.
There was all sorts of like statues about and everything in the dark. And then there was just like caravans. So yeah, I spoke to them. Really nice chap though. He gave me his boss's number and said like, "There's nothing here, but speak to the boss." So I phoned her, knee high of mud as well, and she said like, "I've left now, but I'll check again tomorrow." So I ran back. Finally got back in the car and then we drove home and I just said, it's probably gone. Someone's probably taken it. It's a nice bag. Luckily I had my phone and my wallet in my pocket, but I left my house keys in there.
Oh God.
I know. And then Nathan texted me saying I'm going to my mum's and I was like, oh no, Nathan's going to kill me that I've lost my keys. And then I've got to like go to his mum's and say, no, you're going to have to let me in. But luckily he was home by the time I got back, so I broke it to him later.
How was he? Did he say typical you?
He was just like, where's your wallet? Because he was worried that my ID's in there and then obviously my keys as well. So anyone could just come. And I was like, no, my wallet was in my pocket, thankfully. Anyway, I phoned the boss and she said that she'll check tomorrow. She did phone me the next day. I didn't think she would, you know. And then she said that she'd found it. So I travelled, yeah. By the way, I was in Leicester, so that's like miles away from us. It's like a good maybe 2-hour drive, Arbor. And like, so I had to drive 2 hours and then, got it. And then drive back.
Do you know what my advice is, Jode? Don't go so far.
Yeah, I know. A few people said that, like, we should have gone closer. But it was a nice place, it really was, and like the fair was huge as well, so it was a really, really good fair. Like there's nothing like that by us, really.
So you had a backpack on with just some keys in it?
Like no fruit and my dinner as well. Because like places like that with fairs and stuff, they're not really inclusive for like vegan things. You get it more in restaurants, but when it comes to like burger vans and things like that, they don't tend to do it yet. So yeah, I took my own food just in case. So yeah, it was just fruit and they did say to me they'd post it, but I thought about the fruit in there. I was like, well, that'll be mouldy before I get there, before it gets to me, so I'm gonna have to go and drive up there.
Oh, it's nice to offer that though, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
As well, it's quite good. Bloody hell, Jode, what you like?
Yeah. So that was it, and then if I'm looking a bit red today, I also had an allergic reaction to my face paints.
Oh God.
So
to be fair though, Jode, you are looking pretty awesome in those.
Thank you. It was worth it. But yeah, my cheeks are all swollen. I've got like loads of little bumps underneath the skin.
Oh, I thought you had some blusher on, if I'm honest.
No, that's my skin.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's so sore. All my foreheads as well. So yeah, it's a little bit tender still today. It was bad yesterday, really bad, but it's gone down a bit today. It's hot. I can still feel my cheeks like really hot. So yeah,
I'd recommend not putting like anything harsh on your skin. So I don't know if you use skincare, but if you do, try to avoid anything harsh. And
I just use like a natural skincare really, but it's like aloe vera and witch hazel. Is witch hazel harsh?
that might have a reaction. The aloe might sting it as well. My advice though is cold compressing on here. So it
Oh
sounds
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so you've had like a sensitised reaction. That means when you get all small and bubbly like that.
Yeah.
So the best thing is to keep it cool, cold things on, and just refrain from putting anything on. Like witch hazel and stuff is probably not the right thing to use at the minute. You should
Okay.
go down in a few days if you just do that.
Yeah.
So, and don't touch it. Don't keep touching it. Dr. Nicholas told you.
Thank you for the advice. So yeah, that was my week. There's always something that goes on in Jodie world. How's your week been?
Boring.
Oh
Absolutely
really?
boring.
Nothing
Nothing's
crazy.
happened. Nothing at all. I can't even remember what day we're on. What day are we on? Monday.
It's because I'll
Yeah.
throw you off when we film on a Monday rather than a Wednesday, because
Yeah.
I have commitments on a Wednesday night
I'm sad because it's
sometimes.
been weekend, hasn't it? So we've had the weekend.
Yeah.
I worked late and yeah, nothing's happened. It's been boring, really. Kids have been off, been just doing things with them.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know, we've just been working, really. Been busy.
Yeah, not as
But yeah,
stupid as I am.
Nothing fun, really. But you know, there's got to be something. I always do something stupid. I don't know what I've done this week, but knowing me, there is something I just can't remember.
Yeah.
So
No. I'm
no.
always losing something. Always. Hopeless. Absolutely terrible.
Me too.
Right, well I think that's it from us today.
Yeah, my loves. I think it was quite good.
Yeah.
Jodie and Nic, the agony aunts. You know what I mean?
I enjoyed it. Maybe we can get to some more if we still have any new ones. Next week we've got a different question, but we'll also add a few of the dilemmas in if you even enjoyed it. If you can relate to any, it might be a good thing to add weekly. We'll see. And I am going to ask next week's question here, so you can comment down below. I will also still ask it on the community page, but just so you've got a heads up of what's coming next week. So we want your assumptions of me and Nic. So what do you assume that we are like? Because I want to read that to see if any are true and false. I'm really looking forward to knowing your assumptions about us.
It'd be a great laugh, I think, to see, because I bet people think the things they think are like going to be like completely ridiculous. Because some of the things that I get now, like my troll comments, are just so ridiculous that they even think that, and I'm just like, it's laughable. So it'd be really interesting to know.
Yeah, but give us your ridiculous ones. We don't care. Like, give them to us.
Yeah, just say what you think. We'd like to know what you think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so awesome.
Okay then.
Thanks so much, guys. I wish you all well.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Oh, yes, that's important. Don't forget, girlies and girlies. I meant guys. God,
Guys and girlies.